1.
Before we get to a huge episode, which I'm obviously looking I'm looking forward to it a lot. Tommy, you found a joke for us.
No,
you personally
I'm
found a
not
joke
going to
for
say I
us.
found it.
Original.
Yeah,
It's an original, is
No.
it?
You wrote
It's
it
original.
up.
No, I definitely did. I want to start by saying that if this joke goes tits up, it was not me. So,
But if it goes well, it's
I'll
also
claim it.
not
I'll
you.
claim it.
No. If it goes well, it's not you either.
No, I will claim it. But this joke got sent in by loyal listener Lachlan Agnew, my favourite redhead. He sent me a very. I giggled. Whether it was actually good remains to be seen. Hopefully it goes all right at the moment. But yeah,
We'll be the judges of that.
yes, and I'm pretty scared.
Will we?
But it can't be any worse than last week's one, can it? So, all right. Without further ado, boys, what was wrong with the restaurant on the moon?
Don't know what was wrong with the restaurant on the moon.
Great food, zero atmosphere.
Oh, good gag. I heard it before. But it's
I was going to say, I was waiting for one of you to say, I've heard that before.
Oh, I haven't heard it before. So
damn.
It had to be better than last week's one, didn't it?
it gave me a good giggle.
On the
gave me-
inside, 'cause it didn't look like on the outside.
No, you know what? The more I think about it.
So thank you for that, Lachlan. And you can continue to send in your jokes because I'm not coming up with any myself. Riley, I told you to prepare one because I was very much wary that mine was not going to be great. So I said, Riley, can you back me up if it goes to shit? So Riley, take it away.
I've not prepared one. I've been sent in one by...
Wiped. Another one is wiped. That means clean.
a good friend of the show, Andrew Sharples,
Oh, Andrew, I thought it'd be Dan.
texted me late
Okay.
last week and said, thought you boys might want this one. So he said he saw it on TikTok.
Oh,
That's what he said. So TikTok
Third
for those
party.
playing at home. So here we go.
Okay.
Good luck.
Ready to laugh.
Yeah. Andy's joke, not mine. I threw a ball for my dog the other day. A little over... Why'd you say, oh no?
I think I know.
Have you heard it?
Keep going.
Sorry.
No, sorry, my fault.
I threw a
Start
ball...
again, start again.
Right.
That's my fault, sorry.
Can you... I threw a ball for my dog the other day. A little over the top, I know, but she looked great in a tuxedo.
Oh my god. Was that better than mine? You're the independent.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, fair enough.
Andy, gold medal. Well
Fair
done.
enough.
Well done, mate.
Fair enough.
They're both good though. So we stepped up.
What a start.
Roddy.
Rightio, welcome back to the Pub Test Podcast. Grand final review this week. Riley over here is fist pumping.
Yeah,
very
baby.
happy.
Surprised you're
massive
here
smile.
after the big night you had Saturday night.
Can't remember the night.
Yeah, can't-
But he knows what the day happened. He knows what happened during the day.
Yes, it's perfect. Best of both worlds. Remember the game and just had an unbelievable night, apparently.
Nah, I fell asleep. Fell on the couch asleep by about 10:30. I reckon you were.
10:30 was it? See, I fell asleep myself, so I can't really vouch for that. But
And Fletch was thriving, I reckon. You would have been, right?
Nah, not really.
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, conked out by about 12 o'clock.
Nah, you're a bit of a
I think
night owl.
we all conked out by about 12 o'clock. I reckon.
Early start, so it was understandable.
Different paths there, but we all got there eventually. So
Correct.
good job to us.
It was a lovely day.
Moving on to some serious content. We are not going to have a second episode this week of the All Sports because we're going to prepare a little bit for the upcoming NBA season and also for our off-season AFL stuff. So we're just going to get our ducks in a row for that stuff. And
Not enough there was not enough, no EPL, there was not
Yeah.
enough news. I feel like it'd be too forced, and we thought we'd use that time to plan outside of the recording.
So there wasn't much happening really in the sport world this week, but we'll catch up on what little news happened in the next week's. So stay woke for that. Stay woke, boys.
Oh, God.
But apart from that, we've got the grand final review. Rod, do you want to take us through this? Since your team won,
He's asked for like 15 minutes to just leave.
he wants a bit of Joel Selwood loving, Tom Hawkins
mean-
loving, just froth over him.
Yeah. So for those who have been living under a rock, Geelong won the grand final, 133 to 52. Yeah, what a game!
No.
Yeah.
What
No.
a game of
As
footy.
a Geelong fan, what a game.
What an incredible
As a
display from both clubs.
Another fizz
I
in the
reckon.
grand final.
Yeah, Sydney couldn't have played much better, but Geelong just. But no, seriously, I literally did not prepare any notes for this just because I feel like it would have been too hard to summarise it. Just so much happened. Honestly, so proud of the club. and the group and the boys.
Little tear rolled down his eye just then, just to let you guys know.
Yeah, it's all coming back to me.
At what point? I know I was trying to bait you a little bit during the game, saying rather just say the game's over, because you kept saying no, it's not over yet, not over yet. At what point were you like game over and you just let yourself just enjoy it? Be truthful.
Truthful?
Yes, because you didn't tell me, didn't declare it until the last quarter when I was messaging you. So
Truthful, the Brad Close goal in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Surely not the third quarter.
To put us up by, I think it was 44 points or 45 points. Jesus. That was when I was like, yeah, they've butchered this. Like,
to be fair, you are the most like in the box like AFL fan I've ever seen. So you're very like you don't say much about you don't say much in terms of like arrogance, which is what we love about you.
Yeah, and
I was trying to get it out of you early, and you wouldn't bite.
And that's like my worst nightmare is calling it early. Sydney come back and win, and I'll never be able to live with myself because even though it's not, I think it's my fault.
Yeah, no, I get that.
The old jinx.
Like even when we left the podcast last week, you're like, "Damn it, I've gone early," because you said like they're going to win as a joke. Yeah. Even you were like, "Damn it, I've gone early."
And I was right. Stengel 2+, Geelong by 25.
Well done.
Yep.
Yeah, I should.
So if anyone bet on that, well done. I think it was $4 odds. Easy money. But anyway, to the game. I mean, yeah, the whole build-up was just awesome. Like, you could see, I don't know, as a Geelong fan...
Well, it was, but the river boat...
I want to know your thoughts on that, because you were there.
I was there.
And everyone... Because I watched that 9 News thing, and all they were saying was, you couldn't see him.
That I can confirm. Yeah.
So the build-up game day was good?
Oh, sorry, yes.
That build-up wasn't so good.
Saturday morning was outstanding. Friday morning was not so much, yeah.
Gill's one and only.
Yeah.
Won't be doing
it
that again.
sounded cool in theory, but it was so far away.
Yeah.
It was, and people who were, I don't know what it's called, but there was a bridge, and people were told it would be a viewing area.
Oh, it turned around early.
The diagram showed that they would get right in front of you and turn around, and they turned around like 500 metres away from them. So, but honestly, like even I was on the side of the water, and like fair crowd, probably, I don't know, 5-10 people deep. You couldn't figure out who was who.
Yeah.
Like they're on a barge and half of their body is missing because the barge is so deep. So you can only see their top half. They're all wearing the same stuff. Like Sydney players are all wearing red and white. Cats players are wearing blue and white.
Yeah.
You can't figure out who's who. They're wearing beanies, hats, sunglasses. So the best part for me was when they came out on the Hiluxes and drove past. That was fine.
Yeah.
But nothing in comparison to what it used to be at Fed Square. All the activations. And obviously, I was a kid back then, so it's different. Like, anything would be fun.
Tommy, have you been to 2 grand final parades before? No, there have I. Must be nice being a Cats fan.
Nice being a Cats
God,
fan.
Here we go. I'm sorry.
Lives in a bubble. This boy.
Wouldn't even know what missing out the top 8 is.
Yeah, what's being bad?
I have a gripe with that. Someone on social media said that Paddy Dangerfield had to join a star club to win a flag. The year he joined Geelong, in 2016. We didn't make the finals in 2015, the year before. So
that's a rather weird call.
that person can shove it, basically. There was some random
Hope
on
they're
Insta.
listening.
Got you.
So, yes, the parade fell flat.
Thumbs down just then.
Thumbs down.
Right, go with thumbs down.
But Saturday morning, thumbs up. I played, obviously the nerves were high, so I played some Madden.
Ooh.
I played Madden. I played F1 Manager, recently purchased
How
that.
is that? But we'll talk about that a bit.
Yeah, it's great. Sorry.
I don't want to get off topic of that. If I want to know, but I don't get off topic.
Good insight into everything. Watch some Sex Education on Netflix.
Are you rewatching that?
I'm rewatching that.
Good.
Let's not keep... we can talk all day. And then it got to probably 1:30 and you're just a mess. I was a mess. And then it hit 1:40 and Robbie Williams came out on the G.
Oh, baby.
What a performance.
Yeah, so good.
Galter
Gudgeon was looking fine as
always.
Boy.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Come on, she was... Yeah, she was...
Yeah, she looked nice.
Stunning.
I'll be respectful
Pretty,
about it.
very pretty.
Yes.
Lovely.
But yeah, Robbie was great. All the songs, even just the way like interacted with the crowd, did the whole like, oh yeah, sorry, I have to sing my new song. Let's get back to the hits. Like that was good. That was pretty clever that he did all that. But and then the game. Sorry, it's been a big roundabout here to get to the game. First quarter, we just like I don't know. Yeah, as a neutral fan, I'd love to get your guys' thoughts. That it just
incredible.
We killed them in every single aspect.
Yeah.
Like we didn't give them a chance to get. And that's the complete opposite of everything that Geelong's been in finals the last 5 years. we'll say. It could probably go longer than that. But, yeah, like all Isaac Smith, obviously, he's going to be in Geelong folklore because of that game. But that first quarter was just incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible. And just they couldn't get more than 2 kicks, any chains together. They literally kicked long, Sam De Koning there, back down, back inside 50 again. Like De Koning had 9 the first quarter.
But it didn't even get that far. Like, Geelong midfield just killed him.
Oh, yeah.
Just wanted it more than the Sydney midfield.
Like, they dominated the ball, but it wasn't that but obviously the Geelong game style we've seen last few years, that kick mark. It wasn't keepings off, dominating the ball. It was that just genuine, constant pressure.
Yeah, the Sydney defence at no stage got a chance to just settle and have a meeting. All right, boys, what's going wrong? Can we fix this? Because it was goal, centre clearance, inside 50.
Yeah, the way the ball was coming out, they could have had Scarlett, Silvani. It didn't matter. The way the ball was coming down, it was just it was too thick and too fast.
And the way the Geelong forwards were moving, I'd love to watch a bird's eye of how our players ended up where they were for goals.
Yeah.
Because, and that's the thing. You get in a groove like that.
Yeah.
You go down by 4 or 5 goals in a grand final in the first quarter. A youngish team, like they've got some young players in there, probably inexperienced. It's hard to come back from. So, but we made the most of it. And, at quarter time, I was in a bit of shock, to be honest, thinking, holy crap, what has just happened?
I think
Sydney
were
were too.
Yeah, but I didn't want to believe it. Like, I just refused to get confident. Just like, okay, 3 quarters to go. Sydney are in the grand final for a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
been there before, up by 6 goals in the grand final. So I can understand your feelings there.
Tom Sheed.
I hate that.
There it is. Tick.
Go on. No,
How many times was that played on the weekend, Tommy?
That post, I think, was it Fox Footy that did like the best grand final moment? I've seen that Dom Shee won that best grand final moment about 15 times, the same post. I get it, okay? Everyone loves it because it was against Collingwood.
Oh, speaking of that, Tom Hawkins, the first
shot of the game. Don't worry, I got reminded of that at
I said that
the Sharples.
to Luke. I said, I guarantee everyone's getting into Tommy about this.
Yep, I got it. Don't worry. A few of the boys, I'm not sure if you one of them.
Man didn't miss out.
A few of the boys said Dom Shee.
Out.
So don't worry, I copped it for that. Don't worry. But
that's great.
I wasn't worried. Don't worry.
But but at the Sharples, no, everyone's not watching. Quarter time, everyone was huddled around the beer pong table.
Wow.
There was
a good reason for that.
Fletcher put on a show.
Did you win?
Nah, I didn't put on a show. But Geelong were dominant. Like, that was crazy what they were doing. And then the second quarter just rolled on, and they kept doing it. You thought Sydney were going to respond, they're going to change up something. They didn't really seem to change much, and they just were just as dominant, Geelong. Midfield kept rolling along. I think Isaac kicked 2 goals that quarter on the run, which were fantastic goals. And, half time it looked like a blowout.
I was saying to Tommy in the car on the way here, if you had have written the script for Geelong for how the game played out, that you couldn't have done it any better, obviously because of stuff that happened later in the game as well. But just the way we played, preparation, everything was just A+.
Yeah,
and the way we played.
We'll get through the game first, but they've obviously made some very key decisions before the game to get themselves in position, which I think Sydney made wrong. We obviously know what we're talking about there.
That's a big talking point. Did Holmes rule himself out?
No,
I heard
Scott.
Did Scott rule him out? Because I don't know where I heard that Holmes ruled himself out.
I think that was just a rumour. People started saying, maybe he's done the
so
the team
Scott
thing.
said no.
But Scott came out and said that was... They just
he
couldn't
passed
take
all
the
the
risk.
physicals, but he just said, "Nah, I can't take you."
Especially a running player like that. That can be a psyche thing.
Imagine he runs down the wing 10 minutes in and pings it.
Yeah, it's a psyche thing. You can get away with it. I was saying you can get away with it as a forward, but obviously Sam Reid did not get away with it. But that's a psyche thing for a guy whose best attribute is running and kicking. To have a hamstring injury, that would mess you.
And I think that obviously it's tough on Holmes because he deserved to play, but I was kind of happy that we made a good business decision, that we had the best team out there, fully fit, ready to go, rather than having that like lingering question mark. And you can spin it either way. You can say him playing is like a big emotional burst for the players, but at the same time, it could have gone the other way and gone completely wrong.
There was GWS Richmond Grand Final. Phil Davis, he had his calf injury, so like. And there's this Sam Reid a couple of years ago, 2010. They've pulled up a few instances where players have obviously been a bit injury prone, and that team's lost. I think it's almost now if you play, you're 100% fully fit. Don't run around half-hearted because some people in the warm-ups were saying like Triple M commentators were going in the warm-ups, he does not look like he's
If
ready to
Sydney
play at all.
win, they're like, oh, risk worth taking.
Yeah,
but because he
there's-
lost,
So I'm saying because of how many
No.
instances there are over
Yeah.
the last
No,
4 or
you're
5
right.
years,
Yeah.
I think you've just now got to take fully fit people in. I understand what you're saying that
no, you're right.
if they did win, but there's so many instances against
Yes.
when the team that hasn't won with an injury has missed. So
Sydney were essentially playing with 21 players.
Because I didn't see Sam Reid.
Sam De
really
Koning,
didn't see him.
I was actually quite surprised that, I mean, and I think one of you two said, oh, maybe Henry goes to Buddy, and he did, and
Yeah.
that's another story. But yeah, Sam De Koning he didn't have to do much at all. He didn't have to do any body work just because Reid was so weak in his lower body.
Yeah.
He had no strength
Yeah.
to take
only
part
do
in
what
any
he liked.
contest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not good for Sydney. I think it just summed up their day. That
Yeah.
they just made the wrong decision and it cost them. And it obviously didn't affect the game because the game was done anyway when he got subbed out. But and then like the back into the second quarter, Sydney kind of started to.
That's what I was about to say. Is that they play a one period where I wouldn't say they were the better side, but they probably halved the contest. Would you say that?
Yeah, well, they kicked 2 of the last 3 goals in the second quarter, I think. Heaney kicked that goal,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, oh, he might start to get into the game here.
Because he was touchless through like a quarter and a half of footy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Incredible.
Yeah. So yeah, went into halftime and it was the same thing. It was like, oh, it's an awkward, like probably for a neutral fan, it's game over. But for me, it was awkward that 6 goals.
Yeah, I get
like,
that.
oh, teams have screwed this up before, but in
a little
hindsight,
bit of an energy boost before halftime too.
Yeah.
But from a neutral fan, it looked just so dominant by Geelong that it didn't seem that way. But I do know what you're saying
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Little energy boost, last goal before halftime.
and sometimes that's all those teams need.
Just a little bit confidence.
one
Yeah.
moment, and it
Yeah.
felt like they might have gotten it, and then
Nah.
proven very wrong.
that was that third. Yeah.
This third quarter, it was just as good. Like the whole game was, but this third quarter was just ridiculous. When I went back and watched the game again, the way that it was just party time.
Yeah.
It was
It was
incredible.
literally fill your boot season.
Oh, like players just streaming forward, like the old 3-man weave when we did footy. Like it was just Sydney. It felt like we had 5 extra players on the ground.
Yeah.
Just so hyped up. Sydney obviously knew this is done, and you can understand that motivation drops a little bit when that happens because you're thinking this is going to be the worst day of my footy career, probably.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but
Yeah.
that was just to go up by almost 80 points at 3/4 time
Yeah.
in a grand final.
Yeah.
I cannot fathom that. So yeah, it was those usual guys. Hawkins, Cameron didn't do much.
No, he
Again.
didn't. Robbie Fox was probably Sydney's best player.
Yeah,
Oh, second best. Chapman.
yeah, second best. Yeah, but I think it was SEN did their team of the game.
Yeah.
think there was
18.
only
Geelong.
3.
Yeah,
It was 4. Was there 4?
Rowbottom,
Rowbottom.
Warner,
Parker.
Fox.
Parker. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
Parker
4.
was good in the first
And
half.
Fox,
9 or
yeah.
10 tackles in the first half. So,
But kind of something the day of the 9 or 10 tackles because like they just didn't have the ball, so they're always tackling.
Yeah.
They didn't have the ball to do anything. They were just tackling.
and
all
that was
the
a
time.
big thing. Whenever Sydney would win the ball in a centre clearance, it would be 2 Geelong players jumping on them and either getting there first or just getting them straight into a tackle, and it's another clearance. Whereas if Geelong won it,
Yeah.
out the
Yeah.
front, see you later, goal. So, yeah, like obviously we'll talk about key moments and favourite moments pretty soon, so I won't say
Yeah.
anything more. But just, in general, best day of my life. Cried
Yeah.
like a baby with a couple of minutes to go until basically the whole presentation. It was just awesome. So
Yeah.
there's not many better feelings, to
Bit
be
of Tom
honest,
Hawkins
boys.
about you.
Yeah.
Cried the whole game.
That was pretty funny. He's like the Jack Rewalt from a
Just
couple of
constant.
years ago. Yeah.
Just like from the third 3/4 time break, he cried the whole time.
Oh yeah, I mean, like for him, like people forget for guys like him and Selwood and Duncan, it's been 11 years. So
Yeah.
like for them, it hasn't been we've always been. They haven't been content with just being like prelim final and losing or semi final and losing. Like they've worked so hard to get it, and they finally got it with this whole different team to 2011. It's a different era. So New Geelong.
Geelong, he loves it.
Yeah,
That's
so-
it's true now.
Yes,
It's true now. You can't
but-
argue that one.
For me, as a general recap, that is pretty much all I wanted to talk about because we'll get to key favourite
Yeah.
moments later.
Yep.
But yeah, unless you guys had
Well,
Any
just
general thoughts?
so Isaac Smith won Norm with 32 touches and 3 goals, which was an incredible game.
After the prelim final where he didn't touch the footy.
Yeah, he played a real defensive forward role in the prelim.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, against Rich, I believe. So or one of those guys.
Oh, yeah, he took him to bad areas, didn't he?
Yeah. And he said that he didn't say that specifically, but he was interviewed during the week and said that he played a role which meant he wouldn't get much of the footy, or he wouldn't be near it much. So he basically said that.
But
yeah.
I feel like he's always played well in grand finals, Alex Smith. Like, always has good touches and a couple of goals sometimes. So he was fantastic. I think in my personal opinion, just pipped Danger and Stengel.
Yep, agree. You're like, at the end of the day, I was kind of hoping Danger would get it, but I agree.
So out of the panel, I forget who was on there, but Jonathan Brown was the only one that went Danger over Isaac. Correct. But the rest went Isaac. So I think that was pretty well deserved. And 32 touches and 3 goals, a fantastic game. Then Danger and Selwood stood up with the whole retirement home, just came alive.
Incredible.
27 touches. Hawkins was incredible. Started them when I think he had about 5 minutes where he was dominant but didn't really score. He kicked the first 2 goals out of the ruck was incredible. And just lit it a fire, and then it just started happening for you, I think. And then I think Danger kicked a goal too. Selwood kicked a goal.
Danger did not kick a goal.
Did he? He gave one to Jeremy Cameron, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
And then
6 goal assists for Danger.
He was pretty good.
Which is ridiculous. Most ever in a grand final.
I mean, he kicked 133 points, so like there's a lot of goals being kicked. You can get in,
very true.
Fill your boots. Stengel was awesome in that first half. He had 3 in the first half or 4 in the first half?
No, not 4 in the first half. I don't know exactly.
He kicked one late.
Yeah, I think he kicked 2 in the third quarter. So it would have been
2.
Yeah.
And then, from my opinion as a neutral supporter, Chad Warner was the only reason that I thought Sydney might get into the game. He had 29 touches and 2 goals. I know 2 goals a bit late, but he was the only one that's first half providing any sort of run for that team.
Yeah.
No one was going with him, and he was. I think there was one playing the wing. He had about 3 handball receives, and one of them was to Reed. He just stood there and gave the ball back while he was getting tackled. It was just like Chad was like, someone give me something. So
poor bastard, just needed some help.
Yeah, he's arrived. Like, I know he's back he's obviously got a bit more responsibility in the back half of the year, and he looks really good.
And he hasn't even played 50 games. I cannot wrap my head around that.
Yeah,
he has not played 50 games yet.
How old is he?
He's young.
Because he's like the
second year.
He'd be
second year,
20 or 21 max.
He's second year.
I was thinking, like, did he come through the Sydney Academy? I want to find this out.
But he was.
I'd assume so. Yeah,
because they do a really good job at making, improving players really quickly and having them ready at 18 instead of ready at 21. So
yeah,
he's 21 years old. I don't know what he came through. It doesn't really matter.
Sorry,
but I think you're right. I think he
showed a bit last year as a rookie, and then probably I wouldn't say tapered off, but he probably have the role. And then second half of the year, he's been given that. You hear about that centre forward role, that like Petrarca sort of role where you forward the footy, playing midfield. And then he's been very good back half of the year. Very good.
Just had no one to go with him.
But soul.
And as well, I think Geelong just seems like we did our homework so well on the Sydney defence, and just, I know it sounds stupid, but made them defend, similar to Brisbane, making guys like Lloyd defend, making Blakey defend rather than being able to push forward. Paddy McCartan did not even look like taking an intercept mark.
No. And Hawkins gave Tom McCartan the bath.
Because our entries, and that is partly because our entries inside 50 were under no pressure whatsoever.
Yeah.
So they weren't loopy, they were darts or short 15, 20 metre kicks, and we just convert the set shot. But
yeah, there was no pressure on the ball too, which helps. Like,
none.
Sydney had no pressure on the ball, so then they could be low darts instead of being a quick kick out of the pack. It was all front of stoppage, a few handballs, so it was impossible for a defender that day. I reckon you would have cried yourself to sleep.
It's. I mean, as a defender, you always think it's your fault, but
it's a team. It was a team.
So
when you get spanked like that, it's a team problem
for sure.
So Chad Warner's, it's actually his 3rd season. He played 2 games. Sorry, at 2020.
That's why.
13 last year, 23 this year.
Bang.
2 games. That makes sense about why we didn't know. There you go.
And finally, congratulations to Patrick Dangerfield. Coaches, what do they call it?
The Gary Ayres Award.
Yeah, player of the finals.
Yeah,
that made me really happy.
Deserved.
Really happy. Just squash some haters again.
The Cats did it perfectly. I know it's very easy to say in hindsight, but the way they managed him into finals, because it's a bit of a known thing that he works he does so much in the season and he gets banged up for the finals. So they did it perfectly. Pardon me.
And other people, the Atkins, Blitzarves, who else am I thinking
Selwood
of?
as well.
So, but like Atkins, Blitzarve standing up. Finally, in my opinion, becoming genuine, really, really good AFL players. I don't want to say stars because they're not stars.
Blitzarve's getting close.
Blitzarve's went all Australian. But like properly stood up and went, this is my role. I'm taking this. And they were the ones that, out of the reason why, in my opinion, Geelong became so good this year. Even like, you played a better style game for half forwards. So then Graham, Myers, Stengel, and not Parfitt didn't play the whole season, but Holmes, they really stood up and said, I'm an established AFL player. I can play footy, and let's go. And then obviously with the older players, they stood up too. So.
And that's what another thing that just made me so proud. Like looking at some of the players, guys like Zach Guthrie, Max Holmes, who I thought in their first 5-10 games, I was like, what are they doing playing? Like these guys are not up to it. And then Zach Guthrie it was incredible.
Guthrie, every time he'd play very sporadically, get a few games, look really skinny, and would get bodied too easily, and then would get outside.
And now he's a lock in our team. Brad Close and Brian Myers.
So underrated, Close.
Brad Close was one of the best pressure players, even up the ground. He was chased down tackles close to Sydney's forward 50.
Yeah.
Just coming all the way down the field and being a part of the rebound the other way. Brian Myers, 3 or 4 goal assists in the prelim, played great in the grand final. Tyson Stengel, obviously. But yeah, all these guys who people from other clubs probably don't know much about, but they've been kind of... Chris Scott always says the overnight success that took 5 years to build.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for him.
Joel Selwood said during the week, you would have hated playing in our forward line in the old way we played, like last year, because you just, as a half forward or a small forward, you just waited for the ball to get kicked to Tom Hawkins, and maybe you got a mark. And when it was so slow, there was 18 people in the defensive 50. As a crummer trying to kick a snap, you're like, I can't kick the ball here. I'm just getting tackled. So now there's a bit of pace in the ball. You're actually involved in the game, and now you're seeing these people like thrive and they can get a bit of speed in the game, and they can get some good opportunities from crumbing instead of having 18 people inside the 50 and just getting tackled. So
and they were the actual like marking targets at times. And
yeah,
there's like the defender doesn't know where to go. It's like who the hell are they going to kick it to?
Because it used to be just like kick it to Hawkins. It used to be just kick it to Hawkins, and Joel said it. We used to be just a literal standby player and just we'll give it to Hawkins. You know what I mean? So by putting speed on the ball, they've diversified the options, and now there's everyone that can get into the game. So Geelong had a very dominant season this year. I want to bring this up. So how much they lost 4 games this year? What do you reckon the total? Do you know it?
I know roughly, so I'll go to Tom.
Do you know?
Guess.
Reckon what the total?
Who'd they lose to? So they lost to
Sydney, Fremantle.
Sydney was 5 goals.
Hawthorn, St Kilda.
Oh, so it doesn't include the... Oh, yeah, they beat Collingwood. Sorry, I don't know why I had in my head that Collingwood beat them.
In total...
Sydney was 5 goals. I know that. It'd be less than 8 goals, I reckon. So my guess is 50 points.
55 points they lost by in total all season.
And the 30 was in one game.
Yeah, 30 was... And then you had 12, and 3... And that was about it.
Saints was 10, I think.
Yeah, memory. 10. Saints was 10.
Dominant.
But, like,
and the Kangaroos
had an average losing margin of, like, 66 for one bit there.
And the Cats' wins were big wins. Like, obviously compared to Collingwood's, Collingwood's bit, like, something you'll never see. But their wins were huge wins. And, like, the game was over at quarter time, half time. So, yeah, dominant. Well, actually deserved.
And those losses were by close margins, obviously, barring the Sydney one, when we weren't playing good footy at all. Like, I remember we beat the Dogs in round 8 or 9, and I went away from that thinking we're just a mediocre.
Yeah.
Probably.
Was that GMH Fair or the Eddie had one?
The Eddie had one. Where it was
when you spanked us in the first quarter and then we came back.
Yeah.
But we didn't really make the most opportunities.
And that concerned me. I was like, we're letting teams back into the game. What are we doing? And it just didn't feel right. And then after that Saints game, we might be in trouble here.
Yeah.
And then
dominant.
The rest
deserves the best side all year.
The rest is history, boys.
Yep. So, congratulations, Riley.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Happy that you're able
happy
to.
For me.
You're very. Yeah, you said you're very. You're one of the good guys when it comes to AFL fans. I know. I wanted to. Your brother wanted me to shout out Luke O'Donnell. Wanted me to give him a shout out.
Oh.
He's probably on the opposite end of the spectrum, but you're always very humble and yeah. So well done.
Thanks, Tom.
It would be nice to see you there. Celebrate with you, obviously. you watch with your
Well,
families, that's understandably so.
We did some celebrating with the family. It was good fun. Great day.
Okay, so we obviously, as you said, we just covered the grand final. So there's a couple of talking points that we wanted to touch on. Some of these are about the grand final. I actually think they all are. They're in reference to the grand final. First one I wanted to touch on. It's been in the news a little bit, which it always tends to be. I swear every year that we talk about the time slot of the grand final. Obviously, we had the night one. Was it last year's night grand final?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. There you go. Went blank for a second then. But
Well, it was like Perth time, so like 2 hours behind. So like,
yeah. So it was like 5 o'clock. Was it like 5 o'clock for them, but it was night for us?
yeah, I think so.
So we always seem to talk about the time slot. I've heard contrasting opinions. Some are saying that it should go back to twilight, or should go to twilight. Some say it to stay daytime. Fletcher, what are your thoughts? Do you think it should stay daytime, or do you think it should go to twilight?
If I'm going to be totally honest with you,
I want to hope so.
totally honest with you, could not give a shit.
I like that answer.
I hate to bore you, but like the day, as a fan, if your team's in the competition, like if you're in the big dance, it's better because you're not waiting all day and then it comes up. But then as a neutral, it's kind of good that if it finished at 9 o'clock, that you go out. I don't know, some people go out to clubs or have a party. It can become quite a long day.
It's a long time. You start drinking at midday, 1 o'clock. We did, as we all found out. We were all dead by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I guess it's whichever side you want, but I think the day. Keep it. I know they want like fireworks and all this shit. NRL does nighttime, good on them, but I think AFL, it's a day thing. It's a bit traditional, and it's a bit like, you can say it that way, but like, I like it. Just,
Fair
it's
enough.
what we do. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's
I like
about the
it.
footy game, not
A
about the
traditionalist.
fireworks and all that
No,
type of shit.
I agree with that. And obviously, scrapping the music and fireworks was the best decision they could have made. Having music would have been so amateur. I know they tried it and it didn't last very long. But Riley, I know we talked about this a little bit in the car. And you had a bit of opinions on it. What are your thoughts?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
Just, yeah, I don't... It's weird. It feels like people just want to change it just for the sake of changing it.
Yeah,
and I don't
agree
really
with that.
understand why. Like, I really like the whole build-up of... You wake up in the morning, they've got all the broadcast on, starting to, talk about old grand finals and things to watch out for during the day. Before you know it, it's lunch, and you can go, all right, I can settle in now.
Yep.
If that, like as a Geelong fan in 2020, when that was a night time,
Brutal.
that was the worst. And obviously COVID, it's different, so you couldn't do anything. But it's just, there was no atmosphere in the morning and the early arvo because there was nothing to do. So for me, yeah, the daytime, all the celebrations are in like fading light. So it's still like a really nice, like it's darkish. So, and another thing, this whole TV ratings disaster
Thank you. I was going to say this if you did it.
is
What do
a
you
bunch
mean?
of BS. Basically, people have been saying it was the lowest rating AFL Grand Final ever, apparently.
But
As
they're
in
comparing it.
viewers, or as in people that have gone on and said it's a 5 out of 5 stars?
No, but tuning in. Like
Like
actually
watching the game.
But the thing is, they compare it to the last 2 years where we've been in
Yeah,
lockdown.
in COVID.
So, like, a lot of those people that aren't watching it probably like we did. We had like 13 of us at someone's house. But last year, I've said
And-
to be in your own.
Yeah, and like last year was in Perth, so all the Melburnians were watching it. Whereas this
Yeah,
year,
exactly.
Melburnians
A lot
went to
of
the
people
grand
go.
final, and there's 124,000 not watching
So I
straight
think
away.
it's a terrible. I think it just can't compare the two.
It's a hilarious argument.
Yeah.
The fact that people can't even think of that. Like you said, 15, 20 people at most houses in
Yeah.
one TV screen,
Exactly right.
as opposed to those 20 people divvied up into maybe 10 to 15
Yeah.
different houses.
Yeah, you can't
But-
compare the two.
I just find that hilarious. But anyway, Tom.
Yeah, agree. Daytime. I think it should be 3:20 start, not 2:30. It's much of a muchness, isn't it? But
Why is that?
Well, just-
What makes the difference?
Well,
What-
I enjoy
those
the-
50 minutes.
I
What
enjoy
are you
the-
going to do in them?
I enjoy the little extra build up. I know it's again only 50 minutes, but it just feels a bit weird. We
You're
played three.
kidding
Our
me.
Sunday afternoon all year 3:20. Now playing a 2:30 grand final. I don't know, but it's at daytime regardless.
50
Regardless whether
minutes
it's
more build
2:30, 12 o'clock, daytime. It has to be daytime. Nighttime would be ridiculous. I wouldn't hate twilight. I prefer daytime. I wouldn't hate it, but just never nighttime because that would be the most. But that was the most painful. Didn't help. We're in lockdown where we couldn't do anything else. We couldn't even go to anyone's house, so it was even pronounced even more. But yeah, daytime. comfortably for me. I don't care about fireworks. Like, do fireworks at the end of the game.
And it's a big MCG is funnily enough, it's a big stadium, so
it's quite large.
It's very hard to hear a singer perform in there. So it's not really Robbie Williams was a good performance, but if you were there, I reckon it was hard to hear him. It was hard to get the whole crowd into it because they're there for the grand final, not for the singing of Robbie Williams. So it's not like the Super Bowl where they throw lots of money at it.
Yeah,
so just keep
chanting and everything.
just keep it normal.
Yeah, I think daytime for me. I think you're right. It's a bit of like an obsession with wanting to change things, but part of me, as you said, if ain't broke, don't fix it. So, unanimous. Then, now Buddy Franklin, he had a pretty. Unfortunately, he was all right against the Pies, but he was pretty poor in the other two games. Finals, obviously Stephen May gave him a bath, and then the Cats again kept him. Hard in a pretty poor side as a forward. It's hard to perform, but he was again nowhere to be seen. As we talked about last week, he signed the 1 year contract extension. Was it the right call, Riley?
It's a very hard question to answer because obviously recency bias comes into it a lot because of his game on the weekend. But I think if you're Sydney, if Buddy wanted to play another year, it'd be pretty hard to turn around and say no.
Yep.
I think that's what it comes down to. Obviously, I don't know the figure, like how much he's on, and that comes into it a lot. So it's hard to answer the question confidently because I don't know how much money he's on. But for me, I think if he wanted to play again, you give him a year and see what happens. And yeah, he had a pretty bad game on the weekend and another bad final against Melbourne. But yeah, I still think it's the right call to give him another year because he's Buddy Franklin. He just has that presence around the club. You're still making money off merchandise and he puts bums on seats. So I think you do more harm by letting him go and potentially he goes to another club and they get the bums on seats. Yep, so for me, I still think it's the right call.
Agree. Fletcher?
Yeah, I know you're talking about the finals there, but he kicked 50 goals for the season. So it's still nearly over 2 goals a game. So that's a good season. The other issue is if you let him go, Marty, Logan McDonald, Sam Reid, McLean, who's really a ruckman, who's playing as a forward for you.
That was part of my argument is that if they think they're still in the window, they've got no forwards.
So they're going to go after a big fish to get you probably have to go off who's on the market, Rory Lobb. You could maybe snag him.
Dan McStay.
So they had to kind of give him a contract because they've got no other option. I did hear that during the week. Good point. Or after the grand final, he's probably can't be a lead-up forward as much as he used to be. He's got to play what he hasn't played all year, all his career. And that's more of a key forward role, which is pack marks or at least not getting outmarked in a pack, which is probably not his strong suit. That's not his one wood. So,
and you could see he tried to do that and be that battering ram a couple of times.
He did against Collingwood the week before.
Yeah.
But he tried to do it against Geelong as well. And you can see he's obviously trying to change a little bit, realising that he can't impact the game in the same way that he used to. But you're right. I did forget about that.
Sydney needs him to play that role, so he's doing it, which is pretty good by him, willing to change his whole game style just to help his team, which is, when you've kicked 1,000 goals, you might just turn around and go, oh, fuck you. But no, he's on board and willing to take it on acceptance.
Yeah, I think what you said about, for me, it depends on how much money he's on. Buddy Franklin at 700 plus for a year overs. Buddy Franklin at 500, not too bad. So I think if they still think they're in the window, which you can't say they're not, obviously made a grand final, they've got no one else in terms of forwards. They've got up and coming forwards.
A little stat: anyone that's lost the grand final over 80 points, I think, it's 0-11 to make it back to the finals or something like that.
On the couch last night, they showed all the teams have lost the grand final by a certain margin to really badly.
Because it's a concern for the culture. It's pretty hard to.
So 2013 they lost it by a lot, and they made it finals, but they lost straight sets. So I think 0-11 for making 0-11 for not winning a game in finals and also not making the finals for over the history of the competition.
Yeah, so it's a real thing. So I think they have to go again, and their forwards up and coming, not good enough to take the next step. So I think it's a good decision, but I think for me it would be heavily based on how much money.
It's out of necessity. At least it's only 1 year though, so then he can retire.
And for them to win a flag, they need Buddy
right now.
Because he's going to kick. He's probably going to kick 45 plus goals next year again.
Yeah.
Under the radar. Like that, I didn't know he kicked 50 goals. That was under the radar
50,
for me.
yeah.
So, there you go.
Yep. Now, last one. We hinted at it. We were talking about in the review. Our favourite moments from the grand final. Now, Riley, so start with you. What was your? I know you got many to talk about, but what's your favourite one?
If I had to pick one, I'm going to group them together and just Joel Selwood in general, basically.
All the haters.
Just, you start pre-game, carrying out Levi Ablett.
That was cool.
Just giving him a kiss, showing him the crowd. Levi, like, smiling and laughing. Yeah, that was pretty cool to watch. And just how it made Gary Ablett obviously feel it was a big thing, because we couldn't really give Gary Ablett a proper send-off up at the Gabba in 2020, so that was a nice thing. His first quarter, 12 disposals, took the piss, and then post-game, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like his goal, his reaction to the goal, how everyone got around him when he went up to grab his medal, that reaction, and bringing Sammy, the number one fan, out from the crowd. Just Joel Selwood in general all day was my favourite.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Fletcher.
Jeez, he's taking a lot of moments there, hasn't he?
Sorry, man. Sorry, I should have gone last.
Fletcher, what do you reckon?
Well,
You can double up.
My first one was 100% the Joel Selwood goal. Like what you're talking about, the celebration there. It was simplified. It's the goal symbolised his career. So it was skillful, but then you got absolutely crunched and it was hard. But then the way he reacted and like what it meant to him, you could tell he knew by then they won the game and everything like that. Probably knew a bit before, but it really, really hit home that they'd won the game, that they won the game. And for someone, I probably haven't liked him as much as what you have because you're a Geelong supporter, but as an opposition fan, you probably don't like him much because he's been so good. Obviously, Geelong's been so good, and also because of the ducking, but he's always been a tough player. It's kind of like one of those things you go like, yeah, you really got my respect there, like fourth flag and all that type of stuff. So the way he reacted, I reckon it was just a perfect moment, perfect time of the game.
It? Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Like if it was early, like the third quarter, it wouldn't have meant so much, or he wouldn't have reacted that way. But because it was like fourth quarter,
and that we could really embrace it and come from everywhere knowing the game was done.
The way he was like on the ground, just like what he
Danger picking him up, and how the camera panned, and Danger's just like screaming. And you see how much it meant to all of them. Hawkins starts crying already. Basically,
the only problem is Danger getting a premiership is the only one I'd go to. Just getting the premiership in general, just because he's done a lot with the AFLPA. I know some people don't like him, but like he's done a lot with the AFLPA. He's always fronted up, always says the right things. Never seen him to put a foot wrong. You can't really hate the man, in my opinion. I understand he may be a bit theatrical, but you can't hate him, and he plays the game in the right way, which is a good thing, and it's good to see someone like that get a grand final.
Yep, I like that Danger call. I think this is probably everyone's. The Sammy and Joel Selwood thing after the game was comfortably mine. That's been on my TikTok and Facebook like non-stop. I think it made it to ESPN or something.
Yeah, in America.
That was incredible when like Sammy's like, oh, me on the ground. Like that was pretty cool. I know he's a prominent figure around Geelong, so that's not uncommon. He
is head of water.
Is he the water boy?
Yeah.
So I think there's a stigma that he's just water boy. He's basically like just everything. Number one fan, just hangs around with the players, helps out with water at training, but that's not just his role. He just does whatever the club wants him to do. So
that's cool. Yeah, that was easily seeing that was pretty cool, and that literally flooded my TikTok, and I'm not mad about it.
Pretty awesome.
The only other moment I'd say, now I'm thinking about it, is the Mad Monday celebration. That was
cool.
That was peak. That was gold.
Cool. Who was the one that fell over?
Isaac Smith, yeah.
I couldn't tell. I kept trying to watch that. Like, who fell over?
Yeah, because they were calling him Norm. They were like, Norm.
That makes sense.
But that was gold. Like
for me, that was just a big F you to everyone who said too old, too slow, because the players just showed that they showed their humour around it. That they're like, we are old. Like, and so what?
Question: if they lost, do you reckon they still do it?
No. I think Joel Selwood said, I don't think we could do it.
Do you reckon that was a Sunday?
For sure.
Thing?
That was probably something over beers on.
Because obviously you can't mention that. You can't bring that out with a loss. So they've done well to plan that so quickly.
That would have been fuel.
No, they do it. I heard an interview. They planned it before the finals. Joel Selwood came up with it.
And if they won.
And,
really?
Yeah. So Joel Selwood organised the retirement bus van thing, and then Isaac Smith got all the wheelchairs and like the walkers and stuff like that, and then they all got their own kit.
They planned it.
But they like 4 weeks in advance.
Wow.
But
That's cool.
I think if you lose, I think
You can't
also
beat AFL.
because not Triple M and Joel tells it off. It's like, what would you do if you lost? So, I probably wouldn't have pulled it out.
It'd be on the nose, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I mean, sad Sunday if you lose.
True.
Instead of silly Sunday. True. Sad Sunday.
Another one as well. Jezza.
That cow one was so funny. Oh
Can
my
I
God.
have my medal back?
Toss, I've done something.
It was 5 o'clock in the morning. Gone through a whole keg at the bar, at his home bar. Gone through a whole keg of Great Northern, and he's giving the cow his medals.
And I know this was before the game, but the egg thing is it's like, oh my God.
He might be the best on TikTok.
He was so happy about these 2 eggs.
Or like how Martin was saying that he's in love with him now
He's
because of all of that.
actually obviously I was a bit bitter that he picked Geelong over Collingwood back then, but obviously great decision by him now. But he's actually so funny. I love him. So.
I always heard stories about him going fishing and stuff like that from GWS, but he wasn't that active on social media. But he's now really active on social media, and it's really good to watch.
He's
like
just, you can't hate the guy. He's so lovable, just like an Aussie.
Genuine.
On a farm with cows.
Yeah.
Just I love him. So happy.
Yeah,
takes the piss so much. It's good fun.
It's gas. But that's it for the talking points, boys. Move on to the trade stuff.
All right, after awesome grand final, all teams, obviously the season's over, all teams are out, so everyone's nominating their teams, getting ready for free agency. This is an interesting time of the year. We love this time of year.
Silly season.
Silly season? Or
that's what's called, isn't it? That's usually what's called silly season.
I've heard silly season about F1, but not the
same
AFL.
thing. No, same thing.
Good job, Tom.
But we'll get into this now. We've got to rattle off a few quick ones, and then we've got one person very important to talk about that Tommy has some
Close to his heart.
Yeah, he is.
He's fired
Maybe
up.
Not for long.
He's getting red. He's getting red, fired up. But first we get through Collingwood chasing some midfielders. So Tom Mitchell has said he wanted to leave, or they want to get rid of him. And then Braden Fiorini from Gold Coast, they're trying to get rid of his contract, and he's done some good things in the VFL or the QAFL New South Wales.
It's all joined.
It's
VFL.
VFL,
It's all the
yeah.
VFL.
Yeah,
It's VFL, NEFL and QAFL all together, which is a bit interesting. And then JJ, which I didn't think was going to happen, re-signed with the Dogs for 2 years, so end of 2024. I thought he was going to go to Gold Coast, to be honest with you.
That's a shock to me.
Yep.
That is puzzling.
I thought it was signed, sealed, and delivered, to be honest with you.
2 years.
I don't see how he gets a game, to be honest with you. In the Dogs,
that was one I wanted to get your quick sense opinion. Is it good enough for you?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Honestly, I'd rather put him off half back, but that's another discussion. Let's not get into this too much. But then Quinton Narkle, obviously, after Geelong has had such a strong side, he's looking to leave. There's lots of teams out there looking for a small forward. I know he wants to be a midfielder, but doesn't really run both ways, so probably he's a small forward. And then Dane Zorko has re-signed for 1 year with Brisbane. Personally, don't know if that's a good idea, but that's all right. That's here nor there. The big story here that's got Tommy C.
Here we go.
Blood boiling. Jordan De Goey has rejected Collingwood's offer because of behavioural issues. Now, this is not the offer that they put to him at the middle of the year. They took that one away. They've refined it, made a new one, done all that legal stuff, legal jargon, and they put a new one to him, and he has said no to it. I don't know the figures of what he's getting paid, but I'm assuming it's 700 to 800K.
I think it was 8.
He said no to it. I think this is ridiculous. Yeah. Tommy C, take the floor, take it away.
Now, up until what I heard this afternoon, I had the same opinion. I was stunned when I read that. Like, literally, the first thing I did was message our group chat like, "What the fuck?" Sorry, pardon my language, but that was literally my.
What did you say, Tom? What the heck?
What the heck? I was shocked because I thought it was a formality. You know, it's like obviously we talked about on the podcast last week, 2 years and then on to behavioural, like a trigger. Yeah. All he has to do is be a good boy and he gets $800,000 a year. So I thought it was basically signed to deliver. Like he can say, I'll be a good boy. But then what I heard today made me start to question, maybe I can understand it. I understand why he rejected it because it was very broad. Because when I heard it was broad, it was way too broad for them to sign. I was like, well, rubbish. All you have to do is just say you're going to be a good boy and you get paid. But did you see what they basically it was literally like Collingwood can do it at any point. the Collingwood can sack
Terminate
him,
his contract.
terminate his contract at any point. So that could be like he takes a shit the wrong way. Like it could be anything.
But okay, I'm going to intervene right there. So he went to Bali in his off season,
Yeah.
in his bye week,
Yeah.
and made some touching that was consensual by her, but didn't look great in the
Of course
media.
it doesn't, especially with his history.
But that's not really a point, to be fair. Like she was consenting of it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
But did he get a 1 week suspension or no week suspension? He didn't miss a week.
No.
He got a $20,000 suspended paycheck. If he did the wrong thing again, they would get taken off him. He obviously didn't, so he got the $20,000. So he did all that, went away on a Bali trip, and got nothing. Let's be honest here. So Collingwood have looked after him here.
Oh, absolutely.
They've done the right thing by media by
Absolutely.
putting out, we're going to suspend him for $20,000. So it looks good in the headline and all this type of shit.
Yeah.
But really, he got nothing for that. Collingwood backed him up, and now he's not going to sign the contract because Collingwood can terminate at any point in time.
You're right.
They have looked after him.
I still think that I'm still on the side of what you're saying, that he should have put any contract. He should have signed any contract put in front of him, just because what Collingwood club and the fans have stuck by him through all the indiscretions. And to be honest, I'm not even sure he's worth $800,000 a year. Like his best is worth close to $1 million, but have you seen? He never done it for more than a month at a time.
Thankful. Collingwood is literally saying, "Congratulations, your footy warrants this amount of money."
Your finals appearance, not your footy.
Yeah, and
Your
it's
finals appearance.
for sure. If you behave and just do what you're supposed to do,
It is baffling.
Collingwood would be absolutely in their rights to go, if you can't trust yourself to behave, we'll just keep Grundy.
And to be fair,
So,
he
yeah,
can
you're right, 100%.
he can go to Bali in his bye week and consensually touch someone up on social media. It doesn't look good for the club, and they won't give him a suspension. That's what they're saying. So he's got to do something pretty freaking wrong. Like he's got to maybe in a nightclub in New York, maybe punch someone in the face.
Yeah. So what?
And
What?
that's the thing. We will never. Maybe we'll never actually know what the clause is, but for me, based off the facts we have, I am staggered that he is, after everything, they've finally given him a contract, and he's gone, no thanks.
A good contract too, because you heard after the Bali stuff that it would be a reduced contract. It's still $800,000.
That is.
That wouldn't have been any lower than what he got mid-year.
That's juicy.
So that's incredible. That I became a bit more understanding of why he didn't do it, because of it is very broad. It's still ridiculous he didn't sign it. Like it still is ridiculous. I still don't think his footy is warranted $800,000 a year. His best is probably worth close to $1 million, but he doesn't play after more than half a year.
Surely, as a Pies fan, that really concerns you.
Yes, that's
the fact that it feels like he's never going to change.
No, you're 100% right.
And
And,
he's only...
He looks stubborn as.
and what's a St Kilda thinking that like he can't even commit to big money, and all he has to do is just say, "I'll be a good boy, I'll stay clean," and like it's a slap in the face to Pies,
100%.
Pies
Oh,
fans.
the
And like
club in
Just
we
the
put
club,
so
the
much faith in and back in him despite all the stupid things he's done, and he can't commit to just being normal.
Yeah, it shows that his last, 6 weeks, maybe, of the season
It was purely for a
his
contract.
His finals.
were purely just to get
Contract.
money and then piss off. Basically,
And that's worrying
do
because
whatever he
obviously
wants.
Jake Stringer did that, got his bag, and he looked quite out of shape. What happens to De Goey turns into that. Like
Exact same
that
thing.
two-way running was there the last 6
And then-
weeks and just goes.
And then Collingwood's back where they started with the Grundy contract,
Yeah.
a contract that's too big and they can't handle it.
Yeah,
And then they're back to square one.
well, then they're waiting for
And
one
then
mishap
what do
and they
do?
terminate him.
Exactly. It just,
Yeah.
When I saw it, I thought, you have got to be
Oh,
kidding
yeah.
me. What is he
Just
doing?
take the money.
Yeah,
And does that mean we're going to move on this because we're getting on? But does Collingwood lower the money now and give him more? Like, so say there's less behavioural stuff, but $600K a year.
I'd rather him leave than get rid of that behavioural thing. I would rather him leave. Like
But you say like 2 years, just give him a 2-year contract for 600 mil.
oh well, yeah, it's okay.
And like
I'd
600
take
mil.
that.
600K. Jesus.
He was good in the finals, but not
Yeah, I'm worried that we've run it. Basically, Paddy Grundy's already gone. Imagine we don't get Grundy or De Goey. That'd scare me. That would scare.
Well, Grundy's not gone because he's still on your
apparently
list.
it's pretty much already done.
I reckon they're waiting for whatever De Goey does. If he stays, then he
Well,
goes.
that's what
But
I'd
if
like
he-
to
if he-
think. I like to think that, but I'm concerned they haven't. I'm concerned they thought this was a formality. Because basically all I've heard is that Grundy's basically gone. But similar to what McStay all year, McStay was always going to Collingwood. I think it's pretty much the same
Yeah,
with
but
Grundy.
McStay had to go, was a restricted free agent, whereas Grundy is under contract, isn't he?
Yeah, it's like 4
Yeah.
more years, 3 more
Yeah,
years.
so they don't have to trade him if they don't want to.
Yeah, but I think it's basically the trade's already done, I think.
But they haven't launched the trade, so trade is not done. They can
It's
keep
a cutthroat
Grundy.
industry. They can keep
Grundy. It's the same as Dunkley with dogs.
Because
Dunkley want to go.
Craig Grundy doesn't want to leave. And I don't blame him. But if he has to leave, he said he wants to go to.
It's all going to pop off
I'm
all
scared.
at once, isn't
I
it?
am scared.
Yeah, once the one trade goes, it'll start going.
I can't wait for it.
Keep at least one. Now, last week we talked about it, and I think I said De Goey. It's not change that decision. I think Grundy's safer. I think that's what we talked. That's what we talked about.
Mentally safer, like.
Well, just know
he's
that.
gonna be there.
Just
He's
know
gonna
he's
be
to
in.
work. You know he's to put the work in.
You know he's not gonna fuck around the off season and
yeah.
stuff.
So I'm starting to change my decision on that. The fact that he can't agree to a simple
wow, simple from our
simple
point of
from
view.
it is simple
adult.
from the Chiefs.
That's basically what they're saying.
That's what Robbo said last
Have
night
responsibility.
on AFL 3T.
You can surely you're right and wrong when you're an adult. It's
so self-centered to me.
And it's good money. It's not like he's getting underpaid. He's getting top dollar for what he's done. So, scary, Fletch, and almost starting to think I almost don't care if he goes.
Wow, there you go. We're going to end on that there.
Wow.
Bang. That was another awesome episode of the Pub Test Podcast. Obviously, the footy season's over. There won't be another, as we said at the start of the show, there won't be another worldwide podcast this week, but we'll be back on track with 2 podcasts next week. We're looking to do list management. We all talked about this actually at the start, so I didn't mention it. It was an awesome grand final by the Cats. Well done to them.
Congratulations,
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Tommy's a bit red and fired up after that, but he's going to say goodbye to you anyway.
Yeah, thank you all for listening, and go Cats, I guess.
Go Cats.
Yuck, that was vomited on my mouth.
Go Cats.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Cheers, guys.
Go Cats.